Hi everyone. I'm very pleased to be here at API Days Australia. I'm Jon Scheele, and I'm going to be sharing with you how you can discover APIs and more with an internal developer portal. Just a bit about me. So I am based in Singapore, and I'm the founder of Blue Connector, which is a consulting and training company based out of Singapore. But of course, in these days, I work everywhere. I specialize in helping companies with their technology strategy, but particularly around APIs and the components that they connect. I'm also the organizer of the API Days Singapore conference, which I will mention at the end. So today, we have a number of professions that have their challenges. And as a developer in your organization, coming into a new organization, or even when you're been at your organization for some time, when you're tasked with creating a new application or maintaining an existing one, you have lots of concerns that you need to address. You may be comfortable with one particular language, but your organization may prefer you to use another one. You need to conform with the organization's own Git-based repository for your code. They will have certain standards and policies about which resources you can use, but even operating within the technology stack, you need to access documentation about what's gone before and what resources are available to you. And these are all over the place. How to find all of these. They may be in a Git repository. There may be some wiki page or some other document repository. You need to understand how to find this information and get up to speed very quickly so that you can be productive. As a manager, whether that's the CIO, CTO, enterprise architect, or development lead, you're constantly looking for ways to improve your delivery of applications. Especially architects and CTOs are trying to promote the use of standards to get a consistent level of quality across all the software that's being developed. You want to be able to reuse as much as possible, and you also want to be able to identify where to remove architectural debt. And as a platform engineer, you're responsible for keeping systems up and running and making sure that what the developers produce can be deployed into production safely and securely. And so it's in your interest to encourage developers to write good code. And you want to be able to observe that code. So now, all of these systems you may be accessing, but you want to make sure that when the developers produce the code, that you can observe and monitor it and take it through its life cycle in an efficient and safe way. So how do companies solve this problem? Well, Gartner predicts that in just a couple of years, 75% of organizations that have platform engineering teams are going to provide internal developer portals. Already, quite a few do. And Gartner talks about 3 different phases where developer portals can, 3 different phases of the software development cycle. Discover and create, where developers are looking for understanding what information is already out there about the tech stack and creating new applications. The integrating and deploying of those applications, and of course what's the platform engineers are really keen on is operating and improving those applications. So across those different phases, you've got different activities and different tools to provide this, and this is really confusing for the different players, the different parts of those of the organization that really needs to be able to put these things together in a useful way. So rather than dive into each and every one of these applications, as a developer, you really want to be able to find one place which is going to help you to find all the other information. So one in the discover and create phase, you want to make sure that the developers are going to be able to find the standards and patterns that the organization wants to promote. You want to be able to find what are all the software components that exist in the organization today so that they can reuse them. You want to give developers templates so that they can hit the ground running with a new application and build the quality into their applications by following the organization's style guide and connecting to the modules and resources that the organization already has. So I'm going to focus on that part because that's where the internal developer portal can really come into its own. I'm going to introduce an application called Backstage, which is one example of this. So Backstage, actually I will flip to the Backstage. Backstage is an example of an internal developer portal. This one was created by Spotify's engineering team for their own use, and they used it for several years before deciding to open source this. So it has gained a following and a community around it. A number of organizations have decided to implement this. So I'm going to share this example, which is of a set of components that you can use to find all the applications, APIs, and other resources that are in your technology stack. So the company catalog, there are different types of components here within the catalog. There are firstly domains. Now the domains reflect your organizational structure. I've created a very simple structure here. The team that's focused on the front office, the customer-facing applications, and one focused on the back office. Actually, I'm going to increase this a little bit. So these are the domains. Within your organization, you may have a sales function, a finance function, and other functions, and each of these has systems that support it. So if we look at the systems part, we have things like customer applications that they use, and also applications that are used by the customer service team or sales team, and systems that are used by finance or HR. So within this hierarchy, each system would have a number of components, application components. And the accounting team are going to be using finance, an accounting application. The customer service team will use the customer relationship management system, and the customers are going to use things like the company's website or mobile app, and that's going to connect to the back end. So we can drill down to each of these. If I look at, say, the customer back end, I want to know what are the things that this relies on and is linked with. So if I switch here to my chart, I've got, if I look at this part here, I can see that the backend server for my customer facing applications, it has a dependency on a database, this resource, and let me go back to here. It's owned by the customer development team. It's part of the customer apps system. It provides APIs to the front end application, and it consumes APIs for payments, for connection to the CRM, and other components. So when we go down further, we can see that we have resources like databases, and then we have the groups that look after these. Now, what are the benefits of actually implementing a developer portal like this? Well, and getting back to who the developer is, if you're tasked with creating a new application or maintaining an existing one, then you want to be able to drill down to the existing components. Go back to our customer backend again. We want to be able to see how it fits, what sort of documentation there is on this application. We want to be able to see how we can how it fits in with the CI/CD pipeline, and how the stages that it takes in its life cycle, from development through testing through to production. And we want to see any APIs that are produced or consumed by this. And we can do that here. If we go to down to the API level, we can see that we have one particular API, and then we can look at the definition of the API, all its endpoints, and its success and failure conditions, the responses that the requests and responses that we need to send for this API. We can embed our documentation within our GitHub repos and within this, so that we can bring in the documentation that's closer to the code itself, and is more likely to be maintained and kept updated when it is part of our code base. So we treat the documentation as code. So how do we go about actually applying this, though? If we want to start with this, the challenge that we find is that we expect each team to have a different experience, because the team that is looking after the customer-facing applications is going to have different needs about information about the applications than the team that's looking after the back office systems. This developer portal will be built and owned by the platform engineering team, but it's not for the platform engineers. It's so that the developers can find documentation, produce good code, find the resources that they're going to need in order to build code faster. And so while it may be built and maintained by the platform engineering team, it needs to be socialized with the developers and need to constantly ask the developers what are the things that are needed to help them to be more productive. Every organization is different, so it's hard to apply a cookie cutter approach to this. Every organization will have a slightly different technology stack and some slightly different processes and different tools that they use for monitoring, for testing, for code quality. And so there needs to be a degree of tailoring in this developer portal. And of course, nothing stands still. So you must constantly evolve and improve the tool. So one advantage of Backstage is that it is extensible. So in addition to its base product, it has the not just plugins that have been created for it, but the opportunity to create new plugins. And there is an active user community that is building new plugins to extend the capabilities of the portal. Another aspect of it is that rather than try to make this system the system of record for everything and replace all those other systems around it, which is too time consuming and likely to fail, the internal developer portal really should connect to the systems of record and provide a centralized place for developers to go to find information about the applications that they care about right now. And to achieve that, the developer portal needs to be able to ingest or connect to those other systems and bring the data into the portal. So some of the core features of Backstage are that it has a software catalog. It can provide a software templates, and you can configure these templates to suit your organization's needs. If I go back to Backstage here, hang on. I go back to Backstage. If I want to create a new system, then I have, as a developer, I have templates that have been prepared for me that build in the styles and the modules that are needed for this application. So I can create a front end application using React if that's what my organization uses, or I can use create a new node template from the template. So if I choose this one, for example, it starts up the scaffolder to ask me some questions. Where are we going? Okay, I'm going to register a new existing component. I'm going to give it a URL that's going to be create a new GitHub repo within my organization's GitHub account. I'm going to put the full path. Where am I going? Just bear with me one moment. I'm going to go to no, I need So I've got some new components that I'm going to create. I'm going to put, let me go back one step. Choose this one. I'm going to create a React app, and I'm going to call this new React app. I'm going to give it a description. So I answer the basic questions. I'm going to set who the owner is. This is going to be a customer-facing one. I'm going to host it within GitHub, and I'm going to set my owner and then a name. So once I'm ready with this, then I create the application. This is going to create a new GitHub repo for this application, and it's going to incorporate the React framework and anything else that I have set within the template, so that I can see, so that I can start my coding. And you see that it has the relationship set for this. So if I go to my docs, I can see where this is going here, and I can also find this back in my component now. This is my new React app, and I can view the source code for this. So these are some of the fundamental components of the internal developer portal. We have, because the community has developed plugins to extend the functionality, we can incorporate several API-related ones, and there are also others to incorporate the newer systems, monitoring, testing, and the CI/CD workflow, so that we can give developers a picture of not just what the code looks like, but how their application is performing over time. Something that the platform engineers look after, but we really want to be able to provide that feedback to the developers so that they can see it also. What we need to be clear about, though, that an internal developer portal is not the same as an API management platform. So we can see the API definitions here, and we can give the developers visibility of what the APIs are and what relies on those APIs. But an API management platform is a much more mature product platform that helps to create new APIs, register them, publish them, and monitor their performance over time. So what we really should be looking for is not to replace the API management platform with the internal developer portal, but to use to connect the developer portal with the API management platform, so that we get the visibility of what is going on in the API management platform at the point when a developer is creating or using an application or other component. The developer portal is also not the value stream management platform or the application performance management platform. These are tools that are used by the infrastructure specialists, and they provide different points of view about the technology stack. So the benefits are for very developer focused, to enable developers to come on board very quickly, to deliver applications faster by using ready-made templates. It benefits the management who are trying to promote standardization and reuse of capabilities. It gives better visibility to everyone across the organization because there is a greater democratization of the information. You can allow more people to see without necessarily changing things. So teams can share information about the components, the resources, the APIs that other teams can utilize. How to go about implementing this? Well, you should take a staged approach to that. There are certain foundational things like the software catalog that are a starting point for these this journey down the platform engineering path. You can, if your focus is on better, faster developer onboarding, then your focus from here will be on making sure that the documentation is available within the portal. If your focus is on better quality of code, then or reducing the architectural debt within the organization, then your next steps after the software catalog are probably going to be about extending with access to the quality tools that your organization uses. And if you want to ensure and provide feedback to developers about how their applications are actually performing, then the next step may be to incorporate the observability and monitoring tools so that when a developer goes to look at their application, they can see that the how it's been performing over time and some of the performance bottlenecks that there may be, that the performance, the site reliability engineering or platform engineering team may have identified, but the developers can see this in focus. So there is some effort involved in gathering this information together in this portal, but the benefits are pretty compelling. So if you're interested in learning more about this, you can see more on the Blue Connector website and also the Backstage website. I'd also like to put in a plug for API Days Singapore, which occurs next April. So if you're able to get to Singapore, I'd be very keen to see you there. All right. So thank you very much.